insulin resistance and low estrogen look very, very similar. So why don't we raise estrogen? You do it however feels right for you. Now you want to raise it just for age appropriate. It's not like you're going back to the estrogen levels that you had when you were 25. But I always like to approach it from both angles. Go ahead and do that if that feels right, but then let's work on insulin resistance. One of the things that I brought forward in Age Like a Girl, and I have brought to you all a couple weeks ago when I did this live, we really talked about the power of a ketone. So you become less sensitive to using glucose. You become more insulin resistant. But the beautiful thing is you have a backup system. Let's go back to what I taught you in Fast Like a Girl. You have two energy systems. One that you activate when you eat, and we call this the sugar burner system. This is where we bring glucose up. Glucose goes up, and then your pancreas has to secrete insulin in order to escort glucose into the cell. When you go through menopause, this system stops working as well. So we've got to metabolically switch more often, not all the time, but more often into our fat burning system. And the fat burning system gets activated when we fast. This switch will happen usually somewhere around 12 hours without food. So looking at these statistics from this study, it's scary, it's frustrating. And one key that we have, one really quick key we have is let's get you tacking on a fasting window every single day. Doesn't need to be super long. It can be 12, 13, 14, 15 hours. Most of you put in your comments, because I know you guys are avid fasters. Most people can do that. I took incredibly adrenal fatigued people. I took thyroid patients. I took severely autoimmune suffering patients and who needed to eat all the time or they were going to pass out. And with training and slow little increments to compressing their eating window and opening up a bigger fasting window, they eventually could get to 15 hours. So I go back to the ketone. When we activate this fat burning system, it becomes a tool to help us through those perimenopausal years. It helps us in the postmenopausal years. And it not only helps with this metabolic syndrome, but it also helps with brain energy. This is why I've been doing a ton of podcasts right now promoting my new book. And one of the most common things the podcasters are saying to me is they've never seen a menopause book that's been so positive. And you'll see when you get the book, you should be pretty excited about where you're going because your brain is rewiring itself for the better. That's a whole nother video. But if you don't feel that way, even if you're on the other side, did you miss the memo that the menopausal brain thrives on ketones more than it thrives on glucose? So we need to find ways to be able to get more ketones into your body or get your body making ketones so that the menopausal brain can really start to come back online. Let me know if that's helpful. I just want to make this simple. So if you don't want metabolic syndrome, let's just create a checklist because I love checklists. So let's create one. What if I don't want metabolic syndrome through the menopausal experience? I don't want all those symptoms. Okay, here's your checklist. Okay, we already talked about the first one. Find a doctor who can help you find the right dose of HRT for you. Check. Okay. Let's start to clean up your diet. That means let's get you off the ultra-processed foods. Let's get you off the ultra-refined sugars and flours. Let's get you off the toxic oils like canola oil, cottonseed oil, all those toxic foods I wrote about in Eat Like a Girl. If you have that book, go look it up and you can see all those lists. And let's get you eating what nature provided. More meat if you eat meat, more animal meat. Let's look at, if you don't eat meat, let's get a lot of legumes in there. Let's get soy in there. Let's get phytoestrogens in there. I've done a lot of videos on soy. Let's get a lot of fiber in there so you feed your microbiome. Let's look at bringing in tubers like sweet potatoes and sunchokes. Those kind of foods are going to nourish your menopausal body. And if it has a lot of fiber in it, if it has a lot of good fat, like olive oil and avocado oil and MCT oil, like I drizzle olive oil on everything. Let's get some good fats in there. And then you've cleaned up this sugar burner system. So number 2 is clean up the sugar burner system if you don't want these symptoms as you're going through menopause or on the other side. So we have HRT, we have clean up the sugar burner system. Okay, next step is let's get you tacking on short fasting windows. 13 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours, something every single day. If you don't have a cycle, then you don't need to time it to your cycle. If you do have a cycle, just don't tack those on the week before your period. But postmenopausal women, you can tack that on anytime. And if you really know that your metabolic system is really off, start to learn how to do some longer fasts. You'll be amazed at how well it will clean up that system. Guess what? Age Like a Girl, my new book. It's ready for pre-orders. And this is the most personal book I have ever written. And I'm so excited to bring it to you. If you are looking to reinvent yourself through the menopause process, or maybe you're on the other side and you're still looking for that reinvention, I'm going to show you exactly why menopause works in your favor and how you can make it your greatest moment yet. Age Like a Girl. That's it. That was 3 things. 3 things everybody can do, right? So it's so fascinating to me because I see so many of you here, and I see it on all the socials that are really struggling with the hot flashes, the irritability, the brain fog, and the belly weight. And that just decreases our confidence. And what happens to women especially is that we start thinking it's our fault. It is not your fault. If you are over 40 and estrogen is declining and you have these symptoms, it is not your fault. But it is your responsibility to change it if you want a different experience in your body. Only you can do that. So I just gave you 3 really easy things to do. Go ahead and grab the HRT, work with your doctor, and let's clean up the sugar burner system, your food system, and let's start tacking on some of these smaller fasting windows so you can get a daily dose of ketones. Let me know if that feels simple. Let's not complicate this very much. But when this study came out, what I do want to say, and then I'm going to the questions next, is there's a really interesting conversation that's happening in the zeitgeist right now. And we went from never talking about menopause to talking about it all the time now, to talking about HRT being the only solution. There are still a lot of women that are nervous about HRT for breast cancer and other endocrine cancers. And this is why I want you to talk to your doctor about it, because for some women, HRT is great and some women it's not. So have an open and honest conversation. And then the other challenge about HRT is it's not like you rub cream on you and boop, everything's better. A lot of times you've got to go through some hurdles to make sure that you got the right dose for you. While you're waiting for that, let's clean up your food and let's tack on the fasting window. Make sense? Okay, I'm going to questions, and here's what I'm doing. I'm going, before I came on live, there was a couple of questions, so I'm going to take the first people. I really appreciate you all showing up live here with me. So I'm going to take one of the first questions that we saw before we even hit the live button. So this is a regular thing on Tuesdays now, unless I'm out of town, and we'll let you know ahead of time. And you can always check the community page. If you go to the community page or you go to my page, you'll see when I'm going to go live next. So one of the first questions that I saw from Babs was that she said, for a morbidly obese person, would long-term keto diet shrink a lymphedema mass on an inner thigh, or will only surgery take it away? Okay, so Babs, I don't know your health history, so I can't give you personal advice, but I can tell you what I've seen. I have seen miracles work either with the keto diet. I would actually say fasting. Start to learn how to fast a little longer, because I see the miracles work even more with fasting. And one of the things that I see over and over and over again is masses of all kinds shrinking. So if you have stagnant lymph in an area, yeah, surgery may be what you need to do. But if it was my body, what I would do is I would start to learn how to fast on a regular basis. So what does that look like for you? I don't know what your fasting length is. So it might look like you just do, 15 hours every day, and that might be amazing for you. We're going to do in January as a worldwide community, we always do a 3-day water fast. Maybe you start training for that. We're doing something very shortly called Fast Training Week, where we practice different length fasts so that you can start to get comfortable with a little longer fast. So in January, when we do a 3-day water fast, you're a little more trained up. And I would take note. Like if it was me, I would train myself to do a 3-day water fast, but I'd train myself by doing these shorter little fasts every day. Then I would get into a 3-day water fast or even a 2-day water fast. And I would watch the lymphedema and the mass on the inner thigh and see if it goes down. And if it goes down, then okay, let's see if we fast a little longer. And my philosophy always is you try everything before surgery. To me, surgery is the last resort. So you want to go into that surgical room knowing that you've tried everything. So unless your doctor is like, get it out now, it's risking your life, then you need to listen to your doctor. But I really want to make sure that we don't lose the potency of lifestyle, and we don't lose the magic of fasting. Because I'll tell you, when I first started learning fasting, one of the things that blew me away is I met people who had fasted for like months at a time. I'll never forget, I was at a conference and I met a guy that literally was morbidly obese, and he decided to fast. And when I saw him, he was on over day 200 of a fast. He was being medically supervised. And one of the things that was the most shocking, he said, about his experience was the moles that were falling off of his body, the skin tags that were coming off. So a mass on your inner thigh, give it a shot, but be safe about it. Check your numbers, involve your doctor. Always recommend that. So hopefully that helps. If you love this video, I did a great video called Should You Eat Eggs Every Day for Breakfast? So you need them to make things like serotonin and dopamine, the neurotransmitters that give us a good mood balance, make us happy, make us calm, give us joy and satisfaction. The precursors for those neurotransmitters are all inside this little egg.